Suspected airstrike carried out by the U.S. hit southern Somalia. A minibus that may have been headed to the capital for an attack was destroyed. The U.S. military has carried out at least 30 airstrikes this year targeting al-Shabaab, an extremist group based in the heart of that country. Well, concerns about violent conditions on the ground in Somalia have many families back here in Minnesota fearful for their loved ones and their safety.
Immigration Customs Enforcement says 92 people were set to be deported in Somalia this weekend, but were flown back to the United States instead. Fox 9's Christina Palladino here now to explain if this means deportations will be halted for now.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. According to immigration officials, it's still unclear what will happen to the group awaiting deportation to Somalia. They're being held in a detention center in Florida. Now, it's rare for governments to put a halt on these orders to certain countries, but it does happen.
U.S. airstrikes in Somalia overnight, just days after a flight filled with 92 detainees from the United States was set to land for deportation. But the plane stopped in Senegal first to refuel and give the crew more rest. Immigration agents then decided to reschedule the mission and fly back to Miami instead. Several of the people on board had been living in Minnesota since they were young.
A number of individuals who have already been deported to Somalia have died in terrorist attacks, and so it's not a safe place.
Jailani Hussein is the executive director of Minnesota's Council on American Islamic Relations. He's been working with the families to see if they can get immigration and customs to put a pause on deportations to Somalia until terrorist attacks cease.
Our biggest thing right now is there's no other country that is deporting people to Somalia. The conditions in Somalia are not ready for people to be deported. And many of these individuals have had no criminal history.
Arrests have spiked drastically under the Trump administration's new immigration policies, including those who have no criminal record here in the U.S. Homeland Security officials have also removed protective statuses from countries like Haiti, Nicaragua, and Honduras, which have been in effect for years because conditions on the ground were not safe for nationals to return. The U.S. has 10 countries on their temporary protected status list. However, being on that list doesn't stop ICE from deporting people.
Now, some of the men on the flight reported back to their families they were treated poorly by federal agents, including being denied food and medicine. ICE says that is categorically false. Attorneys are trying to file last-minute motions to keep them in the U.S. 3 men were granted temporary stays, and they are already back in Minnesota. Kelsey?